Morning, morning, morning. Or afternoon or evening, wherever you're watching. But it's morning for me. We're gonna hack on Firefox again. We're not gonna work on dialogue like dismiss for now because I actually got it working last night. So if we do something like closed by any dialog script, this is going to need an ID T1 show modal script. Click and it goes away. Look at that. So we got it working. But what I want to work on today instead is this. So currently, adopted style sheets has a restriction on CSS style sheets that have the constructed flag set. So when you try and adopt a style sheet, it will check whether or not the constructed flag is set, and if it isn't set, it will throw a not allowed error, DOM exception. I think there's a possibility that we can just lift this. We can let people adopt non-constructed style sheets, like link-rel style sheet, and it should just kind of work. So in order to do that, and the CSS working group agrees, we're going to work to lift this restriction. So I'm going to try it, see what happens. We discussed this the other day in the web components face-to-face, and I said I will flip the bit on this. So let's flip the bit. So the first thing we're going to need to do is check out central. Whoopsie, check out central clean. Let's do a poll whilst we're at it. And we're going to write a test. Oh, I should probably... probably share the live stream as well. So you have to be patient whilst I do that. Kill beans. I think that's the live link. Yep, cool. That was fun. Right. So this should be fairly straightforward, he says. That's not for shortening. For shadowing. That is, I think, genuine. We need to find the tests for adopted style sheets, and we're going to write a test. There is no way. There we go. CSS on. So if we go to tests or testing, tests, CSS, no, WPT, no, I always forget where these are. Testing web platform tests. Testing web platform tests. CSS. CSS. I thought I had oil installed here, but clearly not. This is netrw. Oh well. Right. So there's an adopted style sheets thing somewhere in here. Adopted style sheets. So there's observable array and modify array sheet. So I think we're going to say adopted style sheets. Style sheets. We'll keep the casing. We're going to call this adopt link tentative HTML. And we're going to make another one which is going to be adopt style tentative HTML. And in web platform tests, there's a mechanism that you can use to I wonder if these actually do this thing. No. There's a green square reference test. Reference. And I think you put it in a meta tag. Oh, this is going to be a waste of time. Let's have a look at web platform tests. Meta reference. Yes, of course. All right, I'm barking up the wrong tree, clearly. One of the has slotted tests uses this reference test, so we'll go look at the has slotted one, sure. Here we go. Link rel match. So, to do a web platform test, one way to do a web platform test is to create an HTML file. We're going to call this adopted style sheets, if we can spell adopted style sheets. Adopt link tag. So the way that this test works is we don't need to do this. This help link isn't necessary, but we will link the lift restriction. We'll link this issue into this help. Just gives people an idea of where what the issue is. We then add this link rel match, and what this link rel match does, if we go look at this file, we can go look at this file on wpt.live, and you can see it has a paragraph that says test passes if there's a filled green square, and it has a green square. Now, what you can do is you can reconstruct this using the myriad ways that you're able to create a green square in CSS. And what we will do is we will create a web component, have it adopt a style sheet that is local to this file, that has the necessary CSS to make a green square. And so we will know if the test passes because we will be able to render a green square. And the browsers, when they see this test with a link rel match, they will do a screenshot test on this, and they will reference this file. So they'll render both files, they'll do a screenshot test, and they'll work out the difference, which makes it really easy to write a test. Because all we need to do is pretty much something like this. If I can copy, why can I not copy and paste? Okay, we're just going to copy the raw file. So we need the paragraph. We're probably going to need a host. We're going to need the shadow root, because we need to adopt a style sheet into the shadow root, but this needs to be my element. And so we're going to say custom elements dot define my element, and class extends HTML element. Gosh, I cannot write. And from this, we're going to say in the connected callback, let's get rid of the template because we can easily create one by doing attach shadow. Mode open. Let's append document create element div, and we'll also say shadow root adopted style sheet, and we need a style sheet, and the style sheet is going to be resources adopted style sheet adopt link .css, and we'll go make that. So resources adopted style sheet adopt link CSS. This is going to say div, and we're just going to yoink this. We just need these styles, but this of course needs to be green. And just for good measure, what we will actually do shadow root append document dot create element style. Yeah, this dot shadow root query selector style text content should work, pretty sure. I guess we could just make a new style object, new CSS style. CSS style object, is it? I always forget. CSS style object, I think. CSS style role. Constructible style sheets. Style sheet, of course it is. Style sheet. So we will construct a new style sheet. We'll call sheet replace sync. And then we'll say adopted style sheets is going to equal sheet. It's also going to equal ID link sheet. Whoops, that's a bad idea, isn't it? Link sheet. See what this does. This should, yeah. So we should have an error, not supported error or whatever. They don't look great, those errors. Adopted style sheets is an empty array. Let's make sure style sheets, and I've suddenly spotted my error. We want to, yeah, fine. What I want to do as well is say background red. I want to see Adopted style sheet setter element of value does not implement interface CSS style sheet. Because link sheet is a link. We need to style. How do we get a CSS style object? From a link rel. Style sheet. Dot sheet. That makes sense. This should be sheet. Link sheet dot sheet. Sheet. Cool. I have been a dummy because this needs to actually have a style rule. There we go. We've got a red square and we've got an error. So in theory, we now should be able to alter Firefox to the point where this does no longer errors, and the color becomes green. And we'll just set this to important just to make doubly sure. We're going to rinse and repeat, but this time, rather than this, we're going to do a style tag, and the style tag is going to be these contents, and this is going to be style sheet. Rather than link sheet, we'll do style sheet, and this should suffer the same problem. It's a red square. Okay, so we've got two tests. This has a red square. In theory, it should have a green square because it should adopt these styles as well. So those are the two tests written. Hopefully that is clear how these have been written and why and what we're going to do about it. So now we just need to find this and set the flag on it. So let's go to search Fox, and I think we're going to just look for adopted style sheets. So here's the adopted style sheets. Looks like it's probably this. Adopted style sheets is the member array. We search for this. Insert element at onset adopted style sheets looks interesting. Zoom in a bit more. Here we go. If it's not is constructed, not allowed error, and we've got the spec pros here, and we could have just as easily found this link and resolved this. So I think this is good. So we're going to go to this file. We're going to go to document or shadow root.cpp. We're going to go to 111. I should have been Mac building at this time because we need a fresh build. So we need to somehow... Oh, I just realized we want to do the static prefs. Static prefs YAML. And let's see if there's an existing CSS thing. Layout, CSS anchor positioning, layout. Want to copy. What should we label it as a flag? Let's just... Is there any custom elements things or web components? Here we go, web components. Declarative. DOM web components. Allow non-constructed adoption. Adopt link. Adopt any sheets. I don't know. I don't know what a good thing is for this. We'll find out. What do we call this? Lift adopted style sheets restriction. The value is going to be false. We want it to be false. We'll say is the constructed flag error check enabled or disabled during adopted style sheets setting. Setter. Yeah, this I think is right. Let's recompile because we need to kick off the compilation of this. So we use this flag. Okay. So around here we're going to say static. I forget the name of the preference now. I always forget this stuff. Is it static enabled? Static prefs, yeah. Static prefs. I forget the casing as well, so we'll have to look at this. Static prefs. It's just literally underscore on everything. So we're going to say if not, we'll just yeet that in there. I kind of feel like that's sufficient. Like that's all we need, right? This is the bit that's being flipped is like when we adopt a style sheet, we want to check to make sure that the style sheet like currently it checks if it's an error. We just want to lift that restriction. This is it. This is the entirety of this patch. I think there's more complexity here that we'll run into. But the discussion that we had in the face-to-face, or not the face-to-face, the pre-face-to-face, was that something like, I don't think it's reflected in the notes, but effectively it was, let's do this, let's flip the bit, let's explore why this is an issue, if there are any issues, and then we can just fix those issues. So yeah, I think the next stage of this is an I2P. So I'm gonna do this over in the corner because I want to make sure that I've got to sign into my emails to do this thing. You can't see my emails. I don't want you seeing my emails. So what do I? Right. Tell you what. Let's edit this in Vim. So the summary is lifting the restriction placed on non-constructed style sheets being allowed in adopted style sheets. We need to file a bug. We need to drop this. CSS working group, platform coverage all. What was the feature flag? The feature flag was this. TurboTools bug NA, link to standards, positions, discussion. Ah, I didn't. Is there is no there's no standards positions. Okay. All right. Standards positions. New issue. Oh. Oh. Need to copy the template. New issue. Specification title. CSS on lift restriction on CSS constructed style sheets. What was it? Lift this. All right. Explainer. Issue will do. Proposal authors. It be me. Can I use in a Bugzilla? We need a Bugzilla issue. Core. Enhancement. Lift restriction on CSS. What component do we put it under? CSS object model. Version trunk. Tracking task for prototyping. Lifting. Submit. Right, so we've got a bug. We also need the bug here. Mozillans who can provide input would be Emilio. WebKit standards position we haven't yet done. Link to standards position. No signal from Blink. No signal from WebKit. Written as part of this prototype. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. So this is the email I'm going to send. Now I need to remember who it gets sent to. Dev platform. Yeah. lift the restriction. I think this looks good. Intent to prototype. Lifting the restriction on CSS constructed and constructed style sheets. Non-constructed style sheets being sheets in adopted style sheets. Okay, email sent. So Mozilla intent prototype should be here somewhere. Oh, sick. This is amazing. Love to see it. Love to see it. Yeah, so we'll just wait for this to trickle through. There we go. Okay, so we've got this. Let's RM this. We've got pretty much the patch ready. We'll compile it and we'll make sure that the tests pass with the flag enabled. In order for them to do that, we need to also, for specific for Firefox, I think this is right. Yeah. Oh god, now I need to find. This line. So we need to enable the flag for this particular test. True. Okay, and then that was style, and then we also had link. Okay. So, what have we accomplished so far? We've written a test, and the test shows us, oh, nearly. The test shows us this fails, and we have an error in the console. DOM exception adopted style sheet must be created through constructible style sheets. In theory, when this compiles, when we rerun this test with the flag enabled, this should be green square. We've also got the same for style tag. So we've got one for style tag, we've got one for link rel style sheet. We also have the patch, right? So we've enabled the flag, we've written a flag, and we've guarded this if check that returns the throw inside the flag check. So if the flag is enabled, this check will never run. Because this branch will skip. So in theory, that's what the these tests should demonstrate to us. Additionally, we've got an intent to prototype so that we can announce to Mozilla folk that we are doing this work and will be prototyping it. So let's run this and we'll see what actually happens. So here's the red square. So if I go to about config and we look for adopted style sheets, in theory, it didn't work. This is true. It must match the document or shadow roots node document. So that to me says maybe this error needs to be pushed in here as well. I'm curious why. What is the sheet? Maybe this method. Maybe we should look at this method. Constructor document matches. Literally just looks at the constructor document. The constructor document is a document. That's fascinating. Well, does the other one work? Have we crashed? We've crashed. Let's look at the other one, the style. I think this one has also crashed. Okay, well, I was hoping it would be that simple, but it's clearly not. Assertion failure is constructed, so we just need to look for this assertion failure then, which is style sheet H423, style sheet H423. Okay, so we can just say if. We can just drop the assert here, I think. Wherever. I just want to copy paste this. Let's also yeah. I think this is the only one that really needs it, but we'll see. This is why we write tests. It's a little frustrating that this line of code was in a header file because it takes a lot longer to compile. I would probably, if I had all the time in the world, I would like use these opportunities to refactor some of these. Well, it looks like that's going to be forced on us because unless I wait, why is this? Why is this erroring? Because we're not in DOM, we're in Mozilla. I don't know if that's going to be sufficient, but we'll find out. Okay. We're coming it out for now. I think what needs to happen, we probably need to pull in some additional static pref stuff. Oh, maybe this. Maybe this needs to be an atomic ball in the static prefs as well. I think This needs to be an atomic ball because some of the CSS stuff is threaded. And that's why it's not appearing. We'll see. We'll see if it changes things. Yeah. Nope. 1 second then. Can I do this? Cool. All right, finished on the compile. Nearly finished on the compile. Maybe not nearly finished on the compile. Excuse me. Oh, these compiles, when you change stuff like static prefs, it does take a while to compile. So I think the next steps beyond this, which we won't do in this stream, is to create more complicated style sheets that reference other resources, like a background image, font faces, that kind of thing, to ensure that everything's working smoothly for those. I think there's like also like @ imports to make sure that nothing is breaking for all of those things, because I believe that the restriction was in place because constructed style sheets cannot do things like @ import, whereas a regular style sheet can. What we might need to do is add additional restrictions to style sheets from link or style tags, where we say rather than just the constructed flag, we set a flag on the style sheet to say whether or not it references sub-resources, and maybe those style sheets cannot be imported, or maybe we can just loosen the restriction from constructed to things that reference these sub-resources as a safety for now. The point being that, like, you know, the majority of CSS will still work, but if you're referencing things like background images, it won't work. Maybe that's a way forward. We will see. Have I got this wrong? I'm going back to commenting this out for now. I just want to see this work. Might actually help if I comment it out. don't understand what was going wrong here. No typos. Curious. Oh well. Come on. Let's compile. I'll just submit the patch with it commented out, and I will use that as a discussion point. I really want this compile to finish so I can see the test pass before I start work. Unfortunately, this is the least interesting bit of streaming, is watching stuff compile. The struggle of compiled languages is real. Gosh. Come on. It's because I changed the static press. Has to do a full recompile basically. Which isn't too bad on Firefox. Some of the other browsers take a very long time to compile if you change one of the core files. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we haven't covered. I mean, I guess we could write one of these tests for sub-resources. Like, whoops. Style sub resource. And this will be nice and easy because effectively all we need to do is say @import right? That should be sufficient. Okay, let's do a Mac run. We'll see. So red square, set this green square. Easy as that. So let's see link and see what happens. Okay, so link's a green square. And then let's see style sub resource. This is a red square, which is interesting. Is that because yeah, I have no idea. Like, I guess I can go to network sub resource. Is my at import rule wrong? Am I being dumb? Probably. Is it no parentheses? It literally, like, been a very long time since I at imported any CSS. I need at import URL like this. Is that right? Hey! Okay, great. This is a really good sign. I'm going to throw this patch up. Let's do that now. I'm running late for work, but this is exciting and I want to finish this. So we've got, let's do an interactive commit. So what have we got? We're just chucking these into the if, commenting out that assert, and we're adding a static pref. Bug, lif, flag the restriction on adopted style sheets, constructed styles. This flag allows us to experiment with lifting the restriction. Constructed style sheets. Oops, I forgot to... Well, so one thing we need to do as well is have these tests. HD add testing. I think this is all fine. Looks good. Why is this altered? We need a Mac format. This takes a second or two. Come on. Okay. Amend. I need to also tag Emilio in this. Why is this taking so long? Why are we running ESLint? Oh, because the HTML files. Oops. Submit. Okay. So if we get an approval on this and we land it, it will ship in nightly behind the flag, but it gives developers an opportunity to experiment because they can with the flag enabled, they should be able to create code examples of various CSS files, and you know, everything should be good. Hopefully folks who are interested in this and interested in exploring this further, like the barrier to us shipping this without the flag is that we don't necessarily know, or at least I don't necessarily know, what implications this has, and those I think need to be discovered. My take from talking with the CSS working group is that there isn't, that is the general vibe. That's my interpretation, at least, is that, like, I don't think anyone really knows exactly the implications, and the history for this detail is a little lost, I guess, as to why this constructed check is here. So it could be everything is fine and we can just ship it, but we need to explore that. So we need to write more of these tests. Would be a really great way to explore that. If we can have more WPTs written that have more and more complicated ways to reference CSS, like URLs, background images, imports, all of this kind of stuff, then we can discover exactly what the problems are, and why it would be problematic to lift this restriction. When we discover those issues, that then gives us a chance to say, can we fix those issues, or do we need to add a smaller set of restrictions? And I think that's very approachable. But as it stands, I think this is in a great place. I'm really hopeful that we can put this into Nightly and start experimenting. So, with that said, I do need to go back to work, but this will hopefully get a review. Thank you very much if you've been watching, and I will see you on the next one.